Bradford Anderson, what is going on, man?
Hey,
What's
dude.
happening?
So I think you, me, everybody, our guests upcoming, we're all on vacation. I think is vacation a thing?
I don't think vacation's a thing because
Is
we're
it
still
not?
because we're still working.
Well, but this is lovely. This is not
Well,
work.
it is. It's lovely, but we're not like on a beach somewhere disconnected from the phone and the computer and just relaxing.
That's true.
I don't know if that ever happens for me anyway. So
you're not the relaxing type.
maybe a day or two.
Maybe a day or two. Oh,
Yeah.
Good for you, buddy. Good
I can't string together 6 or 7 days.
No, that's just boring. Well, we're gonna find out what our guest is doing on her break. We have Tabyana Ali. Hi.
Hi.
She's bringing it this morning. What is going on? How are you?
The energy.
Yes.
I'm doing really well. I woke up around 7 a.m. I did a whole yoga and Pilates and prayer and meditation, and I feel good and rejuvenated.
Oh my goodness!
I love the morning routine.
You were speaking Steve's language here.
I am. I'm a big morning routine person, so that's awesome. Is that what you do every morning, or what do you try to do?
I try to do it every morning.
Awesome.
I realize that is a great way to start my day. I end up, having a more positive vibe throughout the day if I do it. So it helps me a lot.
That's great. How long do you do yoga for in the morning usually?
It depends on how I feel. I don't really have a set time. I don't really strict myself. So anywhere between 5 to 30 minutes, can go up to 60 minutes.
Cool.
It just
is there a certain frame of mind that you try to get to before you're done, or
just get out the bed? That's what
that's the first thing. That's the
first thing.
Wait a second. Are you doing yoga in bed?
Sometimes you can do yoga in bed.
That's true. You could do something.
I'm like, if I'm really not feeling it, but I just want to get up and I really just need that momentum, I'll just do it in bed. I'll just turn on my TV because my TV's right here.
There you go.
So I'll just turn on my yoga guide and just do it in bed if I have to, because sometimes it just takes me a minute to get out of bed. So I try not to hurt myself.
Well, and just getting into full breaths too, deep breathing in the morning. Gosh, oxygenating your body as I punch my mic.
Don't punch your mic, buddy.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. How long? When did you start instituting that? Because that seems like a very grown, mature person, self-aware person thing to do. And not to say that you can't be self-aware at 21, but you know what I'm saying.
I sure wasn't.
Right.
No, I mean, I've always been into self-help and self-care
Awesome. Good for you.
Since the time I came out the womb.
That's the key.
I don't know what it is or what gravitates me towards it. Yeah. But I've always wanting to improve and do something to make sure that I'm happy and healthy and in a good state of mind. So
I love this.
I've been doing it for a good amount of time. I think I'll say 2 years now I've been doing consistently.
Wow, good for you. That's awesome. That's
all right.
Awesome.
Well, speaking of your young life and things you've been doing for a while, tell us a little bit about how everything started. Where are you from?
So I'm originally born and raised San Antonio, Texas.
Ooh, yes. We've been to San Antonio a lot.
Love
me
San
and
Antonio.
Bradford.
Now, okay. Really?
Yeah.
Yes,
so when
yes.
you're okay, so I know you're 21. Was the river walk already past its prime when you were born?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. For sure.
Wait, so did it have did it have a bunch of years where it was the place and it became not the place?
No, it still is the place. It still is the
That's
function.
the thing.
Oh, good, good.
When everyone says San Antonio, they're like, "Oh, river walk."
Yeah, no, yeah. Nobody ever is like, "Oh, the river walk is there." Everyone's like, "The river walk is there."
Okay,
the
cool.
river walk
That's
is there.
awesome.
It's always upgrading, probably every 10 years.
Sure.
There's a new type of restaurant, there's a new theme, there's a new something.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many times you go to the Alamo, it's still wow, this is the Alamo.
That's
true. Here.
That's true.
And we live here.
Right.
It's cool.
So that's great. The San Antonio pride is intact. I like that.
I love it.
Yeah, since the time San Antonio was San Antonio, the river walk has been the river walk.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay. So how long now, when did the art start coming into your life in San Antonio, or because I according to your IMDb, it looks like you've been in this for some time. So I'm curious how that went from San Antonio and when that transferred to LA but how it all started.
Yeah. So I started acting when I was about 7 years old. My beautiful mother heard something on the radio about if your kid wants to be a Disney star and be like Zendaya from Shake It Up. And she came to me and she was like, hey, would you like to act? Do you think you want to try this out? And me being the kid that was very theatrical since the time I was out of the womb, I was like, yes, what do you mean? Of course. So she took me to that casting call. And it just kind of like surpassed from there. I got a lot of good feedback just from that one thing, and not even really knowing what I was doing, but it seemed like a very natural thing that came to me.
So you didn't have like dance or voice before that? What were you doing before that?
I was just twirling around.
All right.
I was also very into writing. Like I was that kid that didn't know how to like write, so I'd draw pictures out to describe what I wanted in like theater or whatever. Like I would write scripts and I would hand them to my family and friends and at school, and so that's what I did most of the time. Like writing was really my big thing. And then I had the opportunity to act.
Wow. Do you still write?
Oh yeah, yes.
That's awesome. So that's something that's just stayed with you. It's a form. I mean, I think it's an amazing form of expression, right?
It is. It was really my voice. Like I wasn't a person that vocalized my feelings a lot. So writing was my way to do that. And so I feel like it's definitely going to be the thing that carries me into like my career. You know, that's what I see myself doing in like the very long run is writing and script writing, and you know, that's what I like to do.
Super cool.
That speaks again more to this self-awareness that you have.
I mean, so let's go back to that, Brad, because I love the point of this. So Tabyana, did you journal at all to get kind of?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
Journal a lot.
Man, you are ahead of the game right now. Like this is amazing. It took me 50 years to figure it out. I'm so happy you're figuring it out now. Good for you.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
I have journals of my days back when I was in elementary school, and it was just like this,
wow. Good for you.
Don't know what I was talking about, but it was important to me at the time.
Of course.
But honestly, actually looking back at some of my journals, it's so interesting to see how my core values have basically been the same. It's just evolved in different ways.
Yes. And that's what's great about journaling, because I really have been journaling, I mean, consistently now for about 3 years. And you can go back and go, hey, wow, I've actually made some improvements in this area in my life too. You know, it's a great gauge. But so in San Antonio, was there a lot of work for you there as an actress?
Not necessarily. I took a lot of acting classes there, theater classes there. But the real place was Austin, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And how far is that?
Wow.
45 minutes.
Oh, okay,
that's
great.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Nothing.
It's not far at all. So my mom and I would travel back and forth between San Antonio and Austin, and we would do more acting classes out there, casting calls out there, and auditioning out there, you know. So between Austin, not really those two, but between Austin and Austin, that's where most of my work was.
And do you have siblings at all?
I'm the youngest of 6.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yes.
So this was, I'm guessing the older kids didn't do any of this or did they?
No. It actually skipped all of them. Because fun facts, and my mom doesn't really like me talking about it. But my mom,
don't come to the screen, Mom. I'm looking for her over there. I can see
she's
her.
Over here.
I know, I see her.
My mom and my aunt, they were into acting and modeling. My aunt was a PBS kid. And
that's
my
cool.
mom was a model, and then she had a show. She booked a show. What was it called? It was called JJ Starbucks. And I was like, where were you? Like, guess you were reoccurring or like lead or something like that? Reoccurring. It was a reoccurring role. And she decided to turn it down to start nursing.
Oh, wow. Well, that was smart.
And I was like, ma'am, we could be with the Smiths right now. We could be hanging out with...
I'm looking this JJ Starbucks up right now.
Houston. She could have been my auntie.
I appreciate your mom's choice for stability and so well done, Mom.
She did. They said well done, Mom.
Well, it only went one season, so we're okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it did only go one season, but still, I was like,
okay, so it is in the family. It's in the family tree. Just you're not taken after your siblings. That's all.
Right. Yeah. Right. They did other things. My sister is a nurse. There's a lot more nurses.
Okay.
Doctors, lawyers.
We need nurses. We need nurses for sure.
Yeah.
So
NBA players, those types of things.
Oh, you have an NBA player as a sibling too?
Well, no, he's a brother-in-law.
Oh, okay. All right.
So my sister's husband is an NBA player. She's a nurse.
Wow, great.
Oh, fantastic. Wow. So, and is most of your family back in Texas, or?
They're kind of dispersed. But yeah, most of them are in Texas. My sister is in Atlanta, and I thought my other sister was in Hawaii, but I think she's back from that. So
there's five other siblings. There's a lot to keep track of.
There's a lot to keep up. Yeah,
for sure. So when was the decision made? Like, okay, well, we've kind of reached the ceiling here in Austin or Texas. It's time to make a move.
So it was actually when I got a producer set. No, it was a director session for this one show that I auditioned for through a self-tape for NBC, and I got my first contract through that. And at the time, for us, they're like, it was very unheard of to do one audition through a self-tape and go all the way to the producer director session and get a contract.
Right.
You know, it was a screen test. Thank you for being here. So it was very rare, and it got a lot of buzz from that. A lot of agents and managers were called after that.
Well, how old were you at the time?
10.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Wow.
Sure.
So, so we're going way back now.
Yeah. Well, but that is a big deal. Like, I mean,
that is back then. That's a huge deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Back then it was a huge deal, and just off of the one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Off of the one tape. And it was actually for a white girl. Like, it wasn't even for.
You just wowed them. You weren't exactly what they were looking for, but you wowed them nonetheless.
It was one of those things. It was humbly one of those things.
Awesome.
So after that, we're like, I guess we're going out to LA. And my mama, she dropped everything for me. And we packed up and we left. And it was just us in LA.
Wow. Just you two?
Yeah. Well, my great aunt was out there, which is her aunt. So we stayed with her for about, I think, 2-3 years.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Awesome.
And were your siblings were like, hey, you're taking mom. What are you doing? That's not cool.
I mean, my siblings are like, at the time, in their 30s and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Everybody now, they're like 40s, 30s.
Yeah, if they say you're taking mom at 30, we got problems.
Yeah, they're like, okay, y'all want to go do it, go do it.
Okay.
They were living their own life and having kids and getting married and, traveling.
All that nonsense, right?
Yeah, they're doing their own thing.
Yeah. So what were those first few years like in LA?
A lot of time in traffic for auditions?
Period. Yes.
Yes. That sums it up.
Yeah. That's pretty much, that was your life. That was your life.
Just traffic. That's it.
You and mom just living in the car basically, right? With like
we kind of
lots of changes of clothes. And
did you guys have wardrobe changes in the car too?
Yes, we did. Stuff. We had a bunch of stuff like that. We had a lot. It was very interesting. I'm trying to remember. It was like trying to build a new community.
Sure.
Because you are starting, right? We really didn't know many people there. We didn't have a lot of family there. It was just her and I. My dad stayed back, and we were just trying to do what we could.
Right.
And we kind of did live a little bit out of our car.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of traveling to auditions and coming home and resting. And then my mom tried to take me to dance classes and singing classes a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting start. It was.
I bet I'm sure it was an adventure of sorts, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I'm trying to really remember like what was happening.
Were you in school too?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. Were you?
I was homeschooled.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. Perfect.
So I think I started homeschooling when I was in the 4th grade.
That's tough though for community though. If you're not meeting other kids, where are you meeting other kids? Maybe classes, dance classes and stuff like that?
Yeah, I was when I was in 4th grade though, I was like not I was not having it. I was very upset. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. There's no kids. There's nobody here. I have nobody to socialize with.
Right.
I don't know. It was very frustrating to be homeschooled for a minute. And then I went back to school 5th grade.
Right.
Was it 5th grade? I think it was 5th grade. And then I didn't like that either.
You're like, all right, okay.
You're like, okay, I'm back.
I was like, y'all got me. Y'all got me. This is reverse psychology and y'all got me. I don't even want to be here.
Oh, you missed school, do you? Here you go.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And the kids were interesting. I had friends, but it was like my first time really experiencing where I was kind of like an outsider and an outcast for that community of kids.
Yeah.
Because I used to go to school at a private school.
Oh yeah.
And I did kindergarten was public school, but most of my school years was in private school. So I was used to that.
Right.
And then I switched over to a charter school, and it was in a different part of town. And I was the suburban girl with these other types of kids, and it just wasn't mixing well. And I definitely felt that for a minute.
So it was back to homeschooling.
It was straight back to homeschooling, 6th grade. It was back to normal. And then I tried again in 9th grade, and I did the same thing. And I was I don't like it. And then I finished 10th, 11th, and 12th grade in 5 months. And I was like, I'm out of here.
Perfect. I love
How does one do that?
You can.
You can do it. It takes just no eating.
I was just saying, no BS. We're just getting right to the point when you do some schooling.
Is it just to like accomplish a single test at the end, or is there like, are there benchmarks along the way? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you?
So I think I took 26 classes.
Yeah.
And it was like lessons. Like, it was like regular homeschooling where you're getting your lessons, you're cramming as much as you can, and you're doing your tests, you're doing your quizzes, you're doing your finals.
Yeah.
And I did that for 5 months, and I didn't do much of anything. I did my audition, I did schooling, I slept for 2 hours, and I went back to doing school.
Wow.
You know?
Wow. So, but that must have taken a pretty strong, like as we call it, like a why, like the reason for doing it. You wanted, like, you clearly were motivated to get through it. And what was that motivation based in? The wanting to have time to focus on what you wanted to focus on, or was it just like,
well, mostly because I felt stupid at school, and I felt like my teachers were making me feel a little dumb.
Okay.
And I've always had some form of insecurity when it comes to education.
Interesting.
I mean, as you can see back here, I read all the time. Yeah. I'm avid reader, but the way I learn is very different. You know?
Right. And that's why homeschool works.
Yeah, that's why it did work. Eventually, even though 4th grade, it wasn't that I wasn't getting the lessons down. It was just the socialization part of it.
Sure. Yeah.
But I had teachers and tutors that would be like, you know, she can't get 2 + 2, but she gets calculus for some reason. You know? So like the harder stuff would be so much easier for me. Like the things that were interesting, I would be able to grasp so much faster for some reason.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the teachers, I felt like sometimes looked at that as like, you know, a negative.
Well, a lot of that education is just like kind of like it's based on a formula. It's like we do this and then we do this and we do this, and if you don't learn along those same lines, they're like, well, you're not doing it right. But come on, yeah.
And it is kind of like that, where like I felt like I wasn't doing their formula. I learned a completely different way. So when I had the opportunity to teach myself, which is usually how like my life is like I teach myself how to do things, or my mother. And then I get it, but that's kind of the reason why. I mean, other than the fact that if I got out of school early, then I can do more work, or act more, you know, do that. But for me, it was solely like I wanted to show my teachers that I could do this, and that I have the motivation to do it, and I am smart, and I am educated. I just learn a different way.
There you go. And that's why I love homeschool, because all my kids homeschooled at some point also for that very reason. So, all right, let's shift gears. Let's talk about General Hospital here for a minute.
Yes.
Come on.
So leading up to General Hospital, like what were if you could trace like we were talking about your schooling, if you could trace like the work that you did in LA to get you to GH, kind of, you know what I mean? Take us down
so
that.
Like, okay. So the work that I got to get to General Hospital. Wow. It's a lot. Okay. So I was the kid that was strictly into comedy. I did
in terms of what you wanted to do, or in terms of what people saw you as? Do you mean?
It was both. It was a combination of both. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was definitely more of a like type joke.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Sitcoms, comedy. I thought that was definitely just going to be my road of acting. So most of the things I auditioned for was like sitcoms and comedies, and I did stand up for about a couple of years of my life.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that was, what I thought was going to be my thing. And then when I was 16, I got an audition for General Hospital, and it was for the part of Trina. And I was very excited about it because I was like, "Oh my gosh, a drama!"
Yeah, right.
Show, like different parts of me now.
Totally, yeah.
Do something else. And I went very far. It was down to Sydney and I, and then she got the part, obviously. And I was like, "Congratulations!" And I really do think that was such a big blessing, because I don't think I was ready for that type of role yet.
Interesting.
Now that I know what this job is, I don't think I would have been ready. I think I needed more time to do what I needed. And also, it was Sydney's time to shine. It was her time to do her thing.
It's a great outlook. Yeah,
for sure.
And it really gave me time to grow and practice and understand drama. Because everybody always told me, like, comedy is hard to learn. Drama, that one can be taught. So I feel like I needed my years to understand what drama was. And I went to great teachers that taught me drama and how to fill a room and how to take your moments and those great things. And then 3 years later, I thought General Hospital came back, and I thought it was going to be for a different role, because they gave me a different name, April, and like I think Nina or something like that.
Sure.
And then I found out it was for Trina again.
That's awesome.
I was like, what a full circle moment. It was, it really like gave me my time to work on my craft before I got here.
Yeah,
sure. And do my work and sell, and so now we're here, and I feel like this is a very big blessing.
So how long you been there right now?
It's it is a year.
1 year. Awesome.
1 year.
Awesome.
Okay. And with your unique ability to teach yourself, as you say, and like how has the process been? Like, was it a shock? Were you completely, on your feet when you got there, or like what's the learning curve been for this?
So coming in, I wasn't as nervous as I thought I was going to be. Okay. Because I had a bit of my nervousness before getting there.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But I try to just observe everybody. Look at the great ones. Look at the people that are standing out. Why are people so attracted to these people? Right. And I look at that. I try to understand that. I try to study it, and then I just take it in. Yeah. And then also I have another seeing eye person, which is my mother, who will watch once I'm on screen, and she'll be like, "Okay, so here's the difference of what they're doing, and here's the difference of what you're doing. Let's see why this is working and why maybe that's not working, and then try a different method." So we kind of do that together. And so I think we're both pretty observant.
You got
people.
It.
That's fine.
Observant.
Observant people. Yes.
In that way.
Wow. And it sounds like, I think with some parents, like the fact that you can collaborate with her in that way, and that she can be that honest with you without you being defensive, that's pretty unique, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Not saying I'm not defensive.
She's almost perfect. Okay, she's almost perfect.
No, My mom, she does tell me the truth. She tells me the truth, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
It just takes me a moment because, you know, I have to do things. I have to come to my own conclusion. Sure. She tells me it, and then I have to come to my conclusion about it.
Yeah. Right.
But it does take me a minute to be like, okay, got it. Let's do it. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So, nice. But it's nice to have somebody to collaborate with when it comes to that portion of work.
Yeah. How do you like the stability of it? Because, you know, actors aren't used to anything too stable.
Right. Well, honestly, I don't know any different because this is my first like reoccurring job, consistent, you know. Yeah. So I think if I was doing something prior where I was on another show and it was prime time and it was different, then I'd probably like give you an answer for that. But I don't know if I really know any different, you know.
Sure.
So this feels great to me right now.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, but in you, it's not like they kind of led you into shallow water. You kind of went into the deep end right away. I mean, the storylines were pretty heavy right away.
Yeah, it was extremely heavy. I was like, dear God, I remember the first time I got the scripts and they just kept coming. And I was like, oh my God, when are they going to stop?
I know. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. I was like,
crazy. It's very overwhelming. Very overwhelming.
Oh my gosh. They were 60 pages long.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think it was like 3 or 4 60-page long scripts, and they just kept coming and coming and coming. And I was like, why? How am I going to get this by next week? Because I got it on a Friday.
Oh, sure.
And I was supposed to learn all of it by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this. I was so overwhelmed that first week.
Yeah. And that's always the test, right? Yeah. You were put through the fire immediately and you made it out the other side.
Yes.
Because, you know, you said something very, very wise before. It's like when you auditioned first, the door shut. It was preparing you for this time. I mean, I believe that's what, you know, things happen for a reason. So doors open, doors close. It wasn't your time. It prepared you for your time, and you got through the hardest part of it. I mean, having that many pages, look, that's not many people can get through that. Like, seriously,
it sounds like
that's a great job.
Getting through high school in 5 months might have helped prepare you for it a little bit. So, I don't know.
I guess so. I think I guess it kind of did in a sense.
You can cram with the best of them.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Amazing.
It is cramming.
Oh, totally. There's a short-term memory thing there, right? Like, I mean, obviously you probably like whatever your memorization process is. Like, I mean, if you didn't have it already, you figured it out obviously pretty quickly. Has that shifted? Like, did your memorization process, whatever you started with, is it still the one you use, or is it evolved?
It's still the one I used, but now it's just quicker. Sure. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you, God. Yeah. I'm like, this part of my brain is starting to be used enough where I can humbly take a script, look at it a couple times, and then just push it away. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Because at first it was taking me like a full day just to remember 60 pages. And now it's
that's
like
still good, by the way.
I mean, thank you.
That's still good. That's still good.
But it was, you know, looking at somebody like Miss Maura West, who can literally look at the script and then literally push it away in a matter of seconds. And she looks at it 2 times and then just goes and gives the best performance of her life.
She's like, awesome. Yeah, she's like, a force of nature. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
right?
Totally, yeah.
So now to start having that ability and see that in me, I'm like, I'm growing, guys.
That's exciting, right?
It is exciting.
Yes.
For sure.
But you know, speaking of Maura, the people that you're working with, I mean, obviously you and Nicholas, Nicholas who plays Spencer. Yeah. It's so confusing because like there's a Nicholas Cassadine who was Spencer's dad, and then anyway, you know, okay, yeah. So so you guys obviously have kind of you guys have something which is cool, and so I mean, what are you loving now, and what are you looking forward to?
Oh, what I'm loving now is just the love. I'm loving the love. I didn't really understand the gravity of what Sprina brought to people. And I didn't think that I would be in that kind of position. So to be in that, I'm like grateful. All I can say is I'm grateful. All I can say is like I'm just extremely thankful, and I'm really appreciating everybody that's letting me have my opportunity to show me.
Yeah,
awesome.
To be on the cover of People magazine ain't so bad either, huh?
Say that again?
To be on the cover of People magazine ain't so bad either, right?
Yeah, I was like, I still am kind of like in the place of like, is that real? You know, because I'm, again, I never thought that I would be the person to be in that kind of position, to be in this spot. So I'm just looking forward to this year because we have so much coming too. We're doing a tour. We're going to New York and Chicago and Detroit, and I'm just really excited to meet everybody. I've gotten to talk to people over Twitter, and I do a Zoom once a month with some of my fans, and we talk about General Hospital. That's and then I have like a self-help club or self-love club where we like meditate and we do yoga, and then I have a book club where we read books and then we chat about it and then we watch movies. So like I just really like interacting with everybody, and it's just been like really fun.
So where can we direct our listeners to find all that stuff?
So it's on my Patreon.
Okay.
It's patreon.com/Tabyana Ali.
Okay, awesome. Fantastic.
It's also on my Twitter. So you can find it there. But yeah, if you just want to join and hang out and just chat.
That's awesome. And your events with Nicholas coming up, is that at coastalentertainment.com? Is that where that is? Okay.
Coastal Entertainment.
Perfect.
Yeah, we know Linda very well.
Yes, Miss Linda.
Miss Linda. So and that's coming up in April and beyond, or what is it? Yeah,
it's April 1st and 2nd.
Okay.
Cool.
And then
and that's on the East Coast?
Yes, East Coast.
Okay.
We're going to Jersey, Astoria, Long Island.
Yep.
Stress Factory. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah.
All that good stuff.
The usual stops. The usual stops. All the fans
and then you're hitting
usual stops.
And then you're hitting the Midwest later on, like or May or
that is, I believe, July, right?
July. Okay.
We're going to Chicago and Detroit.
Chicago and Detroit. Yeah. Cool.
June. My bad.
June. Okay. June. All right. So
people I need to look at my lists.
It's okay. Right. Coastalentertainment.com. You can get all the
events. I think is
find her on Twitter. Find her on Patreon. She's awesome. I appreciate your perspective and your wisdom for such a young person. You're awesome. I really appreciate the conversation today.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all for inviting me.
Yay, Tabyana, everybody. Woo!
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.